everybody. Welcome to Battlefield Podcast, episode 151. I'm Ola, a.k.a. Chalk1, and with me on the screen is Tim, a.k.a. Darkness for Time. Hey, Tim, how's it going?
It's going good, buddy. Can you believe it? 151 episodes.
It's been a while since we did the last one, but to be honest, there's not a whole lot going on since that Battlefield 4 teaser video that came out, so we had to put on our creative hats for this episode and come up with something to do. And we've invited three really, really awesome people that we spend probably way too much time with.
It's true.
But I think we'll just kind of go through sort of one by one. I think first up here I have Tony, a.k.a. Ynot-the-Tiger. Hello, Tony.
Hello.
What are you doing these days on the internet? Tell us a little bit, quick thing about you.
Quick thing about me, I guess, as far as my channel's concerned.
Sure, whatever you'd like. Whatever you want people to know. If they think, why not the tiger, this is what they should think.
Well, if they think, why not the tiger, they're going to think about rainbows and lollipops and everything that's nice. No, but I guess in all seriousness, I'd say my YouTube channel, and I used to think sports videos, but actually it's turned out to be more like Battlefield videos. I have definitely become like that Battlefield guy, and that's where I met actually all of you guys. Minus Crafty, though. I met him when his internet, or when YouTube decided to strike him down violently. So I guess just in a nutshell, you know, just a guy that is not only somebody who's a Battlefield guy, but a guy who's also a sports nut, and just sort of an avid gamer in general.
Cool. And then we also have with us Scannerbarkly. You should say hello as well. Which for some reason,
people.
The button doesn't work.
Oh, yes. I love it. Here, Tony, mime what I'm saying.
There you go.
Damn it.
You're up.
I could have had a Tony puppet.
All right, Scanner, tell us about you.
I am deathly pale. Clearly. I don't know, I do YouTube, and I like any game that lets me kill people. It's where I derive most of my pleasure. That's about it.
And you're also Irish.
I'm Irish as shit. So, very Irish.
And somebody else from across the pond, we also have Lee, a.k.a. the Crafty Cockney. Hello.
A very good evening to you.
So,
Jesus, I look big on the screen. I don't like that.
Yeah, I know. I tried to warn you guys. It's mostly noses on this stream.
You just scared me. I was like,
Speaking of scaring you, you do a lot of videos on your YouTube channel that are extremely fucking scary.
yes, my channel is primarily a horror channel. I love scaring people. I love getting scared myself. But I think most people, they're quite evil. They just like watching my reactions and watching me shit my pants in general. So yeah, primarily a horror channel, but I also make some comedy videos and do some music mashups as well now and again, and some funny impressions of well-known YouTubers, etc., etc. So yeah, there's a good laugh over there.
I actually think the very first video of yours that I saw was a compilation of moments in your Slender game. It was basically just you screaming and cursing a lot at the screen, which I thought was epic to see.
Yeah, that was originally my 1,000 subscriber video before the channel got pulled, and I had to build up to another 1,000 and do another video. But yeah, that was like 25 Slender games, just taking the best bits out of there. It's just me screaming and swearing a lot, but everyone seemed to like it quite a lot.
All right, well, we'll talk to these guys in a little bit, but first Tim's going to tell us a couple of things that did happen in Battlefield news over the last 2-3 weeks. Nothing major, but there's still a few things that Timmy wants to share.
Yeah, it's been really slow since the Battlefield 4 single player trailer revealed thing. But what we've been able to pull from is a lot from mpfirst.com. They've been staying up on top of the Battlefield news. The first one is that DICE actually teased the new Battlelog 2.0. And it wasn't the biggest tease in the world. It was some developer with his phone took a screenshot of a screen. And we can't really pull much from it other than just some things that have been moved around. A lot of speculation has been made as to, are we going to get more than 100 friends on our friends list? Are we going to have the privacy settings if people are able to follow us or not outside of our friends list? Things like that. But it's still very hush-hush at this moment in time. And that's about it for Battlelog. The only other big piece of news we have right now is that starting May 9th, there will be a 96-hour Battlefield 3 double XP event, which sucks royally because I am moving on the 11th.
Yes.
But so for everyone who is stationary and has their computer in front of them, you will be able to play for 96 hours straight and grind away at your XP and try to get your shit buckets on the Xbox, PlayStation 3, and PC.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I'm actually curious. I was going to ask the other guys, these Battlelog improvements, you know, more friends, privacy features. You guys care about any of those in particular? Like, I know I always have a lot of friend requests that I can't answer just because of that sort of arbitrary 100 friend limit, but I guess that exists on Xbox and PlayStation 3 as well, so is that something you guys are looking forward to? Anybody in particular?
I think the privacy thing's kind of nice.
That
Why is that?
Nice.
Yeah, but in the friends thing, I don't really bother me just because of the fact that, you know, Xbox, PlayStation, we already have a 100 friends limit, so no big deal. Privacy, though, that'd be sweet.
Yes.
I think, like, you know, Ola, you and I have experienced the most, I think, out of all of us because we've got those damn DICE-approved dog tags. So we're thrown on these websites of people who have these tags, and it's turned into a game almost. Who can get the most DICE-approved tags? And you were even telling me that on Xbox, it's quite the competitive scene to see who can grab the most.
Yeah, it is. I wonder though, like, Battlelog privacy features would be nice on the PC side. I don't know how effective they'd be on consoles because you can still find friends and friends of friends on servers a little bit more easily.
Yeah.
But
it's just having that ability to turn that part off so that people can't just grab your code from the Battlelog site and then throw it up on another website for people to just come abuse you.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm sure they're going to make improvements to it for Battlefield 4. I would be surprised if they don't make some sort of tweaks to it.
Yep.
And speaking of consoles and PCs, now we have sort of an interesting mix here. Tim, you and I started off on PC.
We did.
I play on all three platforms, not equally, but I dabble.
Yep.
We have a couple of, well, we have one definite convert among us today that's gone from PlayStation 3 to the PC and doesn't ever want to go back. Tony's also built a PC, but is still pretty committed to your PlayStation 3. And Lee, what do you play on mostly, by the way?
I'm primarily a PS3 player, but I haven't played on the PS3 for probably a month. I generally play on PC now, saving for a new PC, a new gaming PC now. So I've been playing with you guys really on PC for the last few months. I'll record a few games now and again that you can only play on PS3 because I just want to get some value out of my capture card that I bought for it because they're not cheap. But yeah, primarily it's been PC lately. So saving money for the new gaming PC.
So why do you think that is? There definitely seems to be a trend of a lot of people building gaming PCs right now. I see it on Twitter pretty much every other day where somebody is actually... Tim, I totally skipped past something that you wanted to talk about. You wanted to do an update on BFP and the charity stream and stuff. Maybe we'll do that at the end.
We'll touch on that at the end.
Yes, we'll do. But yeah, everybody's building new PCs. Why did you guys build new ones, or build one to begin with? Scanner, why don't we start with you?
I had majority of my life I've been a gamer who's gamed on everything. Like when I started gaming, it was on the ZX Spectrum like 26, 27 years ago. So I was used to a keyboard, and then I went from a ZX Spectrum to an Amiga. And for a lot of my gaming life, while other people were playing consoles, I was on these keyboards playing on these systems. And then I went console, and then I went PC again, and then I went boat, and then I went console, and now I'm back to PC. So I just like having everything available to me. Really, since I started my YouTube channel, I was talking about how I wanted to build a gaming PC and how that would be coming, onto the channel, so no one's allowed to be surprised when it happens. And then I did it. I've spent considerable cash on my rather nice PC, and I don't know, I like all facets of gaming, but for FPS will always be a PC thing for me, because when I used to play Counter-Strike and Unreal and Quake, all of that happened on the PC for me. So being on console for a while was merely a diversion. I can understand Tony giving a thumbs down on account of how, you know, he's jealous of my awesome PC. But no, I just like, I've got my PC, I've got my Xbox, I've got my PS3. I will get the PS4. If they don't make the new Xbox I was on, I'll get that too. I like having everything, not in a kind of a, oh, look at my gaming shit kind of way. Just in a, I like being able to play the best damn games, and each kind of format has its own games that either shine better on that particular format or are just exclusive to it, and I want to play them.
So Tony, why did you go and build yourself a gaming PC? And then also, I guess the question of buying Battlefield 3 again for it as well, so that you can play it on PC as well as on your PlayStation 3.
Well, my decision to actually build a gaming PC was, I guess, to, like, you know, pull the curtain back a little bit. I wasn't feeling well end of last year and the beginning of this year, as far as like having this sort of chronic health problem, and so I was sort of kind of in the dumps, and I just wasn't feeling well, and so I got this tax return back, and so I was sitting there looking at, do I pay? This is not very mature, by the way, so don't follow this lead. But I was like, okay, do I pay off? Advice. Well, yeah, do I pay off some of these bills and just throw this tax return away, or do I want to use it for something that I can get a little bit of enjoyment out of? And so I selfishly decided to not pay any debt, which it didn't. It worked out great for me because I got that taken care of anyways. But the thing is so I just kind of sort of bought it as sort of an impulse buy, just to kind of make me feel better about my situation. So I guess it was sort of someone would say that was a healthy decision for, you know, like depression or whatever. But so it just ended up being that. I just decided that, you know what, I wanted to feel good, and so I ended up doing that. But the funny thing is, though, is that I'm still very much attached to my PlayStation, and so I find myself having these debates about, you know, how much time do I spend on my computer or my PC versus how much time do I want to spend on my PS3. And right now the PC's winning because it's only about a month old, but I could see that, you know, there will come, you know, in the next 6 months or so, there'll come times where I'm going to be playing a lot of the PlayStation 3 again. And for me, it's more of a comfort thing. You know, sitting here at this desk playing on the PC is a sort of an uncomfortable place to be. You know, I don't have a lot of room around me, and so my TV room, which was gonna kind of be the entire computer, you know, gaming hub, it's nice. I got a couple of couches in there. It's comfortable. I can relax. If I'm tired of playing, I could just turn the TV on. And it's a far more comfortable experience for me. So for me, I know it's less about the actual hardware and the graphics and the technical aspects of it. And it's more for like the comfort, sort of, I guess, the ergonomics of it is also. That's what really pulls me back to console gaming. Because you guys know this, I was a PC gamer long before I was a console gamer. But I just really fell in love with console gaming. And I guess the group of friends that I have made around console gaming in the last, you know, 3 years.
What do you guys think then, as far as the roles of, you know, PC games and console games? Like, do some of them fit better on one system versus another? Lee, you said that you play some games on the PlayStation 3 because they're exclusive to them, and there's some really good games. That's one of the reasons I keep my PS3 around, like the Uncharted series that you can't play on a PC, or, you know, even if you wanted to. So you kind of have to do that. But given the choice, if there's a game, let's say Battlefield 3 or any of the upcoming titles, Battlefield 4, that's going to be available on all of them, would you pick PC over consoles?
Yeah, probably. Simple fact is that majority of people that we actually chat to now are moving over to PC. So it's kind of a case of, it's not like you know, keeping up with the Joneses, but you know, you kind of understand why people are moving over to PC. Myself, I mean, I've been a huge console player for years and years and years. Going back to, I think the first one I had was the Sega Master System back in the day. But I always played on my own. I never really played online. And one of the first games I ever played online on a massive scale was Battlefield 3, believe it or not. It was my first-person shooter I'd ever picked up as well. I was always more of a role play kind of geek. But picked up Battlefield 3 and started meeting people like, you know, I met Tony, I met the boys from Shisty Bang and what have you, and we had some laughs, but primarily I was playing on my own. So for me, especially since starting YouTube as well, I can see the benefits of having a powerful PC as well, rather than the gaming laptop that I run off at the moment. And it's also the social aspect for me. So I get to play with all of my mates that I chat to on YouTube. We game a lot now in the evenings anyway. Pretty much every single one of us on this call do. And I just think having a more powerful PC, you know, I always knew the graphics were going to be better on a PC. We all know that. We always knew that, you know, you were going to get a better experience, more frames per second, etc., playing on a PC. But I never really bought one because I don't know anyone. Pretty much like what Tony was saying about most of his friends played on console, and that's why he got one. I didn't know anyone pre YouTube really who played on a PC, but now I do, and that circle of friends seems to be growing and growing and growing. And I really enjoyed my time playing with everyone, and I can really see the benefits of having a PC, especially with YouTube as well. You know, I'd like faster processor for, you know, rendering purposes and what have you. So yeah, that's pretty much why I'm going to move over to PC now. I will be picking up the PS4. There's absolutely no way I'm going to miss out on some of the exclusives like Watch Dogs that are coming out. That looks amazing. And you've got PS3 exclusives like The Last of Us, which is coming out in June, and there's absolutely no way I'm not playing that. So
yeah.
I will pick up the PS4. I'll still hang on to the PS3 as well, but I will be getting a PC, a gaming PC as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, what does that mean then for the future of the consoles? I mean, the next-gen consoles are coming out at the end of the year, whenever the Xbox One's going to be coming out. For people who have just bought, you know, spent significant amounts of money on gaming PCs, aside from exclusive titles, is that the only way that people are going to still be interested in consoles, is exclusive titles?
No, I don't think so. We have a very twisted... I love the way everybody else is an AK except me. Yeah. We have a very kind of a twisted spectrum when it comes to what we see of gaming, and it's something that we forget, I think, is that we're no longer like really the average gamer. We're the dedicated gamer and YouTuber. And for many YouTubers, the PC, the powerful PC, is the holy grail. Exactly like, you know, Crafty said, because you can render stuff better. And those two magic words, no HUD. You know, you want to get in, you want to do interesting kind of things all of a sudden within the games that aren't just the game itself. So we see the dedicated, the intuitive, and the creative people's attitude towards gaming. The average gamer's attitude, the average console gamer's attitude is, I want to come in from work, TV is shit, so I want to sit down and I want to play a game for an hour to wind down. That's the average gamer. And they will always be a massive and very, very profitable market for console gaming. Every time we hear that console gaming is dying, it's like, I've heard this easily 4 or 5 times over the course of my life. Some computer magazine when I was a kid, because the internet didn't exist, used to say, oh, console gaming is dead. It's all about the Commodore 64. And you're like, okay. And then, you know, then the Dreamcast came out and kicked everyone in the stones, and they were like, oh shit, you know, consoles can do more, and consoles will always be able to do more and provide, you know, a better, more refined form of that console experience for people who want it. So they'll be fine. They're never going to die, because us, you know, people in this call buying a PC is not the millions and millions and millions of people in the console market who will never buy a PC because they don't want that power. They don't need it. They just want to play their game and have fun. Want to sit on the couch and play FIFA with their mates.
Yeah, it's exactly like what Tony was talking about earlier. He's saying it was that comfort level. You know, people, like you said, just want to just kick it and sit on their couch for an hour and play a video game and then turn it off and go do something else.
I think it's also to do with education as well. Not schools, but you know, technology education. I mean, you go out to, if you go to build your first ever PC, and you start looking at the components that's required. If you don't know anything about PCs, you might as well be reading Chinese. That's if you're not Chinese, obviously. But you know, so a lot of people don't know what a GPU is. They don't know what their RAM should be. You know, what's a good graphics card? They don't know these sort of things. And then they start looking at the prices. If people start saying to them, well, this is really the kind of graphics card you want if you want to run at 120 frames per second, etc., etc., and they see that it's $700 just for the graphics card. And then they look over their shoulder and they go, or I could just buy a PS3 and it's all in one box and I haven't got to fuck around with it. So,
right.
So I think it's sort of like an education sort of thing as well. But I don't think people know. I mean, you can get pre-built ones, which are, I think we'll all agree, they're not great and pretty overpriced as well. Or you can go and buy a PS3 or, you know, an Xbox 360, what have you, whatever's on the shelf, and, you know, it's all made for you. You haven't really got to stress out about it. So I think it's also the education side of it. And like you say, I mean, Scanner was just saying he's got a pretty beast PC now, but it did cost him a fortune. I know Ollie's just bought himself a new computer and it's cost him a fortune. They're not cheap. And if you buy one of those and you're not used to PC gaming, you might spend, you know, if you're in the UK, a good 1,500 quid on a really good PC to play games on and realise you don't like it. And you end up selling that PC the next week and you end up picking your console back up again. I think it's the safe option. And it's also an option that kids will always get at Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, a kid, you know, a 14-year-old boy or girl, they're going to get a Nintendo DS. They're going to get a PS3, an Xbox 360. Their mum and dad isn't going to go, open it up, it's a new gaming PC. so I think consoles will always live because of that as well. And, you know, as Tony and Scanner have both mentioned before as well, it's to do with you know, how casual you can be. You can just get in from work, you can just kick your shoes off, pick the pad up and just kick back on the couch. But I think for me, especially since getting into YouTube, and as I was saying about, you know, my circle of friends in YouTube growing now, I'm starting to become a lot more serious about my gaming. And I think if you are deadly serious about your gaming, you're going to move over to PC eventually. That's just my opinion, but I think you will end up moving over to PC eventually.
I think as the newbiest of the PC builders here, I can actually definitely agree with what you, Lee, because there is a level of a big learning curve when it comes to PC shit. Because I probably spent, I don't know, Scanner, realistically, what did I spend? Like at least 3 or 4 weeks talking about PC stuff before I actually went and the purchase itself was like, I did it within days. But the actual talking about it and sort of picking everyone's brain it was almost a month-long process after I decided, yes, I'm going to build a PC. So the learning curve is pretty damn steep. And so if you're someone who doesn't know shit about PCs like me, it's a little daunting, you know. And once you kind of get the hang of it, though, it's sort of Scanner was, you told me this once, you're just like, no, once it's running, once you get it going, it's going to be great. You're going to feel great about it. But it was the first, like, week or so, I was like, oh my god, this is the worst experience ever. But after that fact, it got to be a really good experience and it felt good to like do it myself. So that part I definitely agree with. I would add to the whole why are consoles still going to be around? It's because of the fact that it's 2 reasons. One thing, it's sort of like you buy into it and you're sort of a part of it for a while. So like take the PlayStation. I had a PlayStation 1, then I had a PlayStation 2, and now I have a PlayStation 3, so there's a little bit of brand loyalty with me. But the other thing is I don't know if we really touched on it, but friends, like you're going to play on whatever system your friends are on. Mm-hmm. So now this is the weird place that I'm in because I really still want to play on my PlayStation. The problem is all my friends are now moving to PC. And so because I view myself as, my brother would call me a hardcore gamer, I kind of view myself as a social gamer. I'm finding myself in this weird spot where I'm being sort of forced to move to PC because that's where all my friends are going, even though I kind of want to stay in this like middle ground. So I think the friends aspect is huge and shouldn't be overlooked.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to say this might be a slightly controversial statement, so people can feel free to just think I'm wrong or disagree with me. But from my own experience, even when I was playing like Battlefield a lot on console, all my social stuff for the most part was happening on the PC. I would be talking to the people I was playing with on Skype. We'd be tweeting each other, we'd be emailing each other. It was like the PC was always sat there, you know, looking at me going, you were playing on the PS3, but I'm your social hub.
Yeah.
So why not just like upgrade the PC you're playing on and then have your gaming hub and your social hub is exactly the same thing. And I do actually maintain that since I started playing on PC, my social ties and my interaction with people has been getting stronger and better. And while it's a kind of a crass statement to make and a bit blunt, I would say, hazard a guess, that PC kind of creates a stronger social side around any particular game. And many times it's exactly what keeps the game alive and keeps the game going. Like stuff like Eve, I would say like 95% of Eve players are super active on Eve forums. You don't get that with many games.
Right.
But that's what PC brings. It brings this really kind of strong, backed up by the internet, social scene around every game.
Those are very good points, especially the social part being on the PC, especially since all of you guys do YouTube, so you're already on there. Whether it's editing videos, processing, uploading, responding to comments, just communicating with people, it's all happening there anyways. Now, we've all done Battlefield 3 content on our channels. We're all looking forward to Battlefield 4, but that's not going to be until the end of the year or the fall, so that's still another 5 months or so away. What do we do until then? I wanted to get some of your opinions, not just what games you're going to play, because that's kind of easy, because there's going to be lots of games to play until then. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I got stuff piled up in my Steam library up to here that I don't have time to even get to anyways. But as far as your channels, like, what do we do? Is there more stuff still to be done for Battlefield 3, YouTube-wise? I don't think any of us are the type that are going to have 50 videos speculating about what Battlefield 4 is going to be like. So, what do you guys plan on doing with your YouTube stuff?
Oh, God. Let's see here. Well, here, for me, it's pretty easy. Since I am playing a little bit on PC now, it's just getting the handle of the controls. And I would say for anyone who's doing anything different or who's playing Battlefield and like, what do I do with Battlefield now that it's gotten to be a little old and stale? Do crap that you've never done before. And I'm not saying like troll, but if you've never been a good jet pilot, go play air superiority and become a good jet pilot. You know, if you want to learn how to drive tanks, fly helicopters, etc. I mean, Phoenix, who's in the chat, she's gone and made herself into a pretty competent jet pilot because she's never done it before and it's at the end of its life cycle, and why the heck not? Go try something new that you might have been afraid to do because you don't want to be like bad or whatever in the game.
What about everybody else? Tim, what are we doing? I'm just going to put this to you.
Well, I think just looking at how we're doing it and how other YouTubers are doing it, they're trying to, I feel like some of them are trying to drain the life out of something that's already been drained. It's dry. So some of the content that I'm seeing is kind of just bland because it's been done in some form or another already. Some people are even reverting back into older Battlefield games like Bad Company 2. I'm starting to see more content come from Battlefield Bad Company 2 than I have in the past 2 years. Just because they're looking for something that's different. It's not the same Battlefield 3 rush on Damavan Peak sniper montage. So I think for right now we're going to see a lot of tangential moves, things that are, people are going to be deviating a lot to other games. I see a couple people starting to show up Defiance videos. They're showing off open betas like Loadout. And other first-person shooters that are interesting, and then they think that their subs will have a like in it because they like it. Some people are just doing it for the sake of views. You can kind of tell in their voice that they're not interested in it, but they know that their subs will watch it, so they're just going to do it for the sake of doing it because they've got nothing else to do. I've noticed that some of the Battlefield YouTubers are doing COD videos again, just because it's something they haven't done in a while. So I think for right now, we're going to see a lot of odd content because everyone's kind of in a loss for what they really should be doing. So I think everyone's going to be kind of just trying out new things to find a sweet spot to maybe even capture new subs until Battlefield 4 comes out.
I think the next couple of months are really going to kind of show who's a YouTuber and who's a gamer.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to become painfully obvious as we move towards Battlefield 4. And the guys who are desperately clinging to Battlefield 3 content because it's all they can talk about and all they can think about, And then you'll have the guys who, like Tim was saying, are going to be experimenting with whatever game it is that they want to play at the time. And they'll just be like, look, this is what I'm playing. I'm a gamer. I play different games. Here you go.
But you're going to have those YouTubers that are very successful with Battlefield, and they're going to keep on trying to stay successful with Battlefield because that's all they know.
Yeah. I feel bad for them. I really do. I feel bad for anyone who, I don't care how big your channel is, if you're trapped with one particular game and that's all people will watch from you, it no longer becomes about you as a person. It's purely down to one particular type of content. That's all people want to see. You'd feel a bit rough.
It reflects.
Like, am I that dull as a fucking person?
Yeah, it reflects on your ability to entertain. If you can't entertain your subs with other content, then you're not really a real YouTuber. You're just a Battlefield player that puts up good videos of Battlefield.
Well, you know that things are starting to dry out quite a bit when to get views you're forced into making an M16 out of Lego. Putting that on video.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, well, no, that's already been done, mate. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you just watch certain people. I mean, they're really dredging the barrel now when it comes to Battlefield 3 footage. I mean, it's a game we've all loved. It's a game we've all enjoyed. It's a game that's been out almost 2 years. I think something Battlefield really screwed up on. There wasn't enough competitive play. There wasn't enough inter-clan matches, which people would have really enjoyed watching. I mean, even if you'd had a channel that was just set up around your clan and you have weekly games, there was prize funds for winning big tournaments like they've done with Call of Duty and games like that. I mean, Battlefield just didn't cater for those guys. I think that could have possibly extended the lifespan of Battlefield and Battlefield 3 on YouTube. But like Tim was saying, I mean, I'm seeing a ton of Bad Company 2 videos coming out now because people just... I'm not saying people don't want to watch Battlefield videos. They do. They just want something original. And yeah. I think most of the ideas have actually been taken now. I mean, there's only so many times you can go through map layouts and, gun reviews. I mean, these are guns that have been out for 2 years. We didn't get any guns in the last DLC, so you can't review those. Yeah. What do we get? An S-Tac. Whoop-de-doo. Cheers, DICE. That premium package was worth it. Yeah, so I think, if maybe possibly if new guns have been released, that might have breathed a little bit more life into it. If we got, say, another 6 to 8 guns. If they had really gave us the option to, enter big tournaments, prize funds, proper 12v12 clan matches on consoles, and then obviously larger player counts for the PC, people would have watched that. People would have watched that shit. Now, what we've got left, I don't think there's much more to do. To be entirely honest, I think that's pretty much it.
Do you think there's a point?
I know I've got ideas, but I'm not doing them for Battlefield 3 because Battlefield 3 is dead. I've got stuff that's never been seen on YouTube, but why would I do it now for Battlefield 3 when I can wait for Battlefield 4?
Yeah.
And do it then. Why would I waste a really good idea on a game that's just dying before my eyes? And I'm assuming that other people out there are the same. That they've got an idea for a series or a one-time thing or a cinematic or a funny thing or anything, and they're just like, yeah, I'll just wait for Battlefield 4 because there's no idea out there good enough to suddenly make Battlefield 3 not be as old and as played as the game is.
So is there anything in the meantime between now and Battlefield 4 that you think game-wise that's going to stand out? Any game that's going to fill the gap? Or is it just going to be a bunch of little things until the next Battlefield?
Steam sales.
Wait, shooter-wise?
Oh, any
just
game, really,
just
Tony.
anything.
Well, it was supposed to be Medal of Honor Warfighter, wasn't it? But that didn't kind of work out for him.
Whoopsies!
That was a bit of a
yeah.
I would say, I know for like, for people who have a PS3, like The Last of Us is a game that'll fill the gap, at least for a month or two. Other than that, I can't think of anything else that I'm really looking forward to.
I don't think we're going to get another Behemoth. We're not going to get another COD or another Halo or another Battlefield.
No. The Last
ahead
of Us is
of
the
expectations.
last big game coming out for the PS3. I think that'll be the PS3 swan song as well.
Yeah.
But
Once The Last of Us comes out.
This cycle that we're in right now speaks for just how gaming is in general. It's very cyclical. Like we go through the winter time, and that's really big for us. Winter and spring is huge, and then when we get towards the summertime, it's dead. Like no games really come out. It's not the right season, and definitely around Christmas time, it's gonna explode.
Yeah, actually, Sam said a game in the chat just there that would have potential is the DayZ standalone. If that lands on its feet, a very solid game, that will be huge.
Zombies. Oh my
Do
god.
you think so? I mean, how much in comparison is it to the DayZ mod content that we're getting right now?
You see, the content is... DayZ is such a weird fish because the mod itself is fairly kind of broken in places, but you put up with the mod and you put up with the hours of trudging around to find a gun, because when something happens, it's legit adrenaline buzz.
Yeah.
Like when you see another player and you're like, shit, another player. And then it becomes chess. It stops being this like fetch and carry game and becomes this 30 to 60 seconds of chess. And the smarter player who knows the game better will kill the other one and take their shit.
Are you friendly?
So
Put down
it's
your
great,
weapon.
yeah. You want to put down your weapon? If you don't put down your weapon, I'm afraid I'll have to shoot you.
Oh, it's just a Bambi. It's just a Bambi.
You know what I mean? But like that has huge potential because apparently they're going to be releasing the game with no HUD, and all the creative people will go mental in that game, making shows and cinematics and amazing videos, and that could be massive. The DayZ standalone, it could be absolutely massive. I can see why people won't play the mod, but if they fix those problems for the standalone, yeah.
But that kind of excludes people who haven't got a good gaming PC. What is going to see through the console gamers before the launch of the PS4? Are we saying it's literally going to be the new Grand Theft Auto and The Last of Us?
Yeah, pretty much. I think Sony were hoping it would be Dust 5 on 4. I think they were hoping that that would come out for PS3 towards the end of its life, kick some heartbeats back into the old girl and carry everyone through, and then we will see that on the PS4. You know, there will be Dust on PS4, I would assume, pretty much from launch. Can't think of a reason why there wouldn't be. And they were hoping to have this be that thing that people could move really comfortably from the PS3 to the PS4 and still be playing Dust. But Dust doesn't seem to be happening for them the way it wants to, even though there's like big interest from people. It's just, you know, it's got its own little issues as well.
Is Dust an SOE game?
No, that is CCP, the guys who made Eve.
Oh, okay. I was just kind of curious. I'm like, why would Sony care? I mean, but, you know, it makes sense. They want their console to be popular.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the PS3 being involved in something quite unique with that kind of interaction and integration between PC players and console players.
Was there actually a cross-platform integration?
Yeah,
I didn't
like
get to play it.
not for the actual FPS stuff, but let's say I'm on my console, I'm playing away, and I have a friend on PC who's playing Eve. I can bring them into position in orbit around the planet that I'm fighting on, and I can have them like orbitally bombard the planet and take out my enemies and stuff.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Which would have been pretty freaking cool. But the game just seemed to fall a little flat. Not for... I think anybody who was in the beta for a long time was playing it and was very, very happy with it, because we'd all seen it improve so much over time. But I think a lot of gamers right now are getting spoiled by betas that aren't betas. They're just demos. They're purely, strictly promotional. Kind of, they come out 2 weeks before the launch. It's not a beta. I don't give a shit who you are or what you say to me. I would never consider that a beta. It's a promo. Here's a quick chunk of the game that you can play, and yes, we'll take information from it, but mostly it's a promo.
It's like how the Crisis 3 was. It was just
yeah,
like
exactly. That. And Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 will be.
Mm-hmm.
If Battlefield 3 beta had been a pure, true beta, we'd have had a much better, game released from day one, glitch-wise and bug-wise and holes in maps-wise and exploits-wise and all this stuff.
but it was just a promo. It wasn't a beta. So
speaking of that, one of the things that I saw an article being written about the other day was actually something that Gordon Van Dyke, who we talked to Tim years and years and years ago.
And for everyone who doesn't know who Gordon Van Dyke is, Gordon Van Dyke used to work for DICE, and he was a part of 2142, community manager for 2142. Awesome guy, and now he works with another company, and he helped develop War of the Roses. So just to kind of give everyone a backstory to who Gordon Van Dyke is.
Yes. And he said something on Twitter. He said that it's something to the effect that he hopes that DICE will have the balls to one day leave the modern setting in Battlefield. I mean, the last 3 games, really, Bad Company, Bad Company 2, and BF3 have all been in the same sort of modern day setting. Same with Battlefield 4. Even if you can even throw
Battlefield 2 and Modern Combat into that, because they were all modern style games.
Yeah, and sometimes they sort of chicken out a bit and say, oh, it's near future, it's 2020. It's like, well, that's not really any different than what we have now. Do you guys think that Battlefield's ever going to go back to, whether it's back in time to World War II or into the future like 2142, which is the point Gordon was making, that it would be nice to do something different, because he thought that 2142 didn't really hit its full potential, but with the way that tech's changed now, maybe there would be an opportunity to do that. Now, obviously, Battlefield 4 is going to be modern day setting again. Battlefield 5, are we ever going to see something different? Maybe a 2143 or anything in that sort of era?
I hope so. I mean, I think a lot of game developers have found themselves in this comfort zone of modern combat because everyone can relate to it. It's something that's going on right now over in the Middle East and other things. So you see it all the time. So you're able to relate with it because you know somebody who's in a war or things like that. And I don't know if we'll see the switch back over to World War II times, because it was so overdone by the Call of Duty franchise, Battlefield 1942, Battlefield 1943, things like that, and it was done so much. Even Medal of Honor was primarily World War II for a long time. But I think the shift over to a futuristic style gameplay is a good move. Call of Duty kind of tried it, but they moved 10 years into the future, and they had a lot of stuff that just didn't make sense for technological advancing in 10 years. But I think if we saw something like 2143 with mechas and things like that, and robots and laser guns, and if it's done properly with destruction that you'd see in Frostbite 3, I think it has the potential of doing really well, because there's a lot of sci-fi fans. A lot of people like the idea of a future style game. It does well. It's all about how it's made and how it's presented to the gaming community. That's the deciding factor if it's going to be productive or not. If it's actually going to sink or swim.
Look at Halo.
Yeah, I mean,
Halo.
Do you think it would detract? I mean, you've got your hardcore Battlefield fans as well. Do you think they will say it will detract from what Battlefield primarily should be?
No, because I mean, if you're what is Battlefield? Battlefield?
You've got, as Tony was saying, you've got games like Halo that kind of do it pretty darn well. I know that's kind of restricted onto one system, but you get the idea. Battlefield. I mean, a lot of people would say, the Vietnam expansion was probably one of the best map packs that Battlefield ever released. So that's probably why they've stuck to that constraint. I'm with you on this, mate. I think they should make a more futuristic setting. And with the new Frostbite 3 engine, they can go ahead and really make an amazing job at that. But, you always get those people who are going to complain.
Sure. But, I mean, if you have people that say, like, will it take away from Battlefield? I mean, if you look at Battlefield as the core, it's all about... It's not so much that the setting that you find Battlefield in. I mean, no matter what you've seen, Battlefield 1942, Battlefield Vietnam, Battlefield 2, Bad Company, it all has the same core concepts of what Battlefield is. It's a tactical shooter with vehicles on a large scale, and you're gaming in squads. So, I mean, I think you can take those core principles from Battlefield and implement it into any setting, and you still have a Battlefield game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I kind of want to take it back to the World War II, because now what I'm noticing, now that I've gotten into PC gaming, I think World War II could be revived just because of the fact you could do like a Battlefield World War, and you could have it on the same scope as like a PlanetSide 2, and so then you could have players invading the beaches of Normandy, or paratroopers dropping in over France, and you could have guys who are flying P-51s or whatever, bombers. You could have a larger scale of a game, and I think that's what a lot of people want to do. I think more than anything else, they just want to have an experience. It doesn't really matter if it's World War II or modern shooters, although modern shooters have been pretty much played out, much like World War II shooters were, in the late 90s and early 2000s. But
yeah,
like just the experience of it all. And I think you could revisit World War II that way. But on the flip side, you could also go into the future. I'd like to see a future game, and not like 2025, like Black Ops 2 or whatever, where it's still pretty much the same guns. They just look a little different. I want to see like laser guns and shit. Like that's the stuff that I really want to see for like future shooters, if they get it, like you were saying, in mechs as well, and just like really innovate. And will the Battlefield community embrace it? Maybe not at first, but it'll be something so different that it would be really hard for them not to be like, all right, well, this is exciting and new, so why is this so bad?
Yeah, I mean, that's the reaction that it was when 2142 was first announced. We're like, what the hell is this? Because we've been playing Battlefield 2 for so long, and then we see all this huge, we see all these things that have shields and mechs and lasers and odd things that we had never seen before. But when you actually get into it, we're all like, oh, this is a lot of fun. This is really cool. And it was sad to see 2142 go the way of the dinosaurs and just die. I think Gordon Van Dyke said it right, that 2142 didn't have its time in the sun to succeed. It didn't shine properly. It was a good game that I think was almost too advanced for its time. There's a lot of things that should have been put in the game that weren't there because they didn't have the ability to.
He stunned us.
Sorry.
It's like, whoa, man.
Oh, man, mind blown.
I'm gonna go download Battlefield 2042.
Let's do this thing right now.
I love me some Battlefield.
The problem is, like, I have a huge amount of respect for developers simply from the point of view that what they're trying to do is create as a group of people. It's not having your vision and seeing it out. It's not writing a book. It's not, writing a song or painting a picture. It's hundreds of people with a shared creative vision trying to make what they all see happen, and needing to find that middle ground between, okay, maybe the idea I had wasn't up to snuff. Maybe, like, Johnny Numbnuts over here had a better idea and we should go with that. And it's always trying to strike the balance and find what works. And then you've got the other concern of, you can be as creative as you want and you can, like, do whatever you want, but if there's not money coming back for the next project is never going to happen. So you need to be creative, you need to be business savvy, you need to give gamers something that they want, that they're used to, but is also different and challenges them. So I can understand why once a setting works or a concept works, you see replication within the market. It's like, for a while it was World War II. Then the niche thing was World War I. It was like, okay, we can go back to World War I. And then it was like the modern day, and then it was, XYZ. And now they seem to be trying to make FPS games, at least from a single player point of view, they're trying to make them more emotional and more cerebral and tell the story of the soldier as a person, not as a John McClane or a Rambo or an Arnold Schwarzenegger type, to show the impact. And that's going to be the thing now for the next 2 or 3 years. And then hopefully we'll see a switch. And somebody out there, the notch of FPS is going to hit the industry and go, this is where first person shooters are going. He's going to have to be a hell of a lot smarter than me, because I haven't a freaking clue as to what shooters. But some guy is going to arrive and he's going to change the game again, and we'll all just sit here and go, that's amazing, and we'll play it for 1,000 hours and then get tired of it.
That's so true. It's so true.
That's the way it'll go. And it's not, like, as I said, it's going to have to be a better man than me who can come up with something. Because
you really are Jesus.
I am. Swear to Christ. but like,
I know the truth, Scanner. Don't lie. I know who you really are.
If you go too far, you're goosed, and if you stay too near to where things are right now, you're goosed. So I don't know. I'd love to see DICE push, something different, like, more future-y. I'd be all about, because I love my sci-fi. God bless Blade Runner. It's all good.
But I can understand the reticence to do it right now. With the huge success of Battlefield 3, which nobody saw coming, nobody predicted, and now they're like, okay, this is what people want, because obviously people are buying it. So it's what people want to play, it's what people want to feel, and it's what people want to see right in front of them. So let's do Battlefield 4 and have it different but similar. So I understand why they're not playing it safe, but I understand why they're kind of staying where they are right now with it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the writing on the wall with Battlefield 3.
They're going to want to amend for the things they did wrong in Battlefield 3 and do it right in Battlefield 4. I think it's going to be more of a 3.5 than anything else. As of right now, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I have no problem with it. As far as
I know. I'll pay
they
$60 for it. I don't care.
Yeah, if they were to release 12 new maps and 40 new weapons for Battlefield 3 in the morning and call it Battlefield 4, I'd be like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because the mechanics and the gunplay in Battlefield 3 are the best of any game ever, in my opinion.
So I think one of the things we want to do then, since we're coming up on an hour, and there's a lot of people in the chat room that have a lot of opinions, and I know they want to ask some questions, but I think maybe what we'll do, Tim, is maybe if you give us that little update on Battlefield podcast stuff that I skipped over so nicely in the very beginning. Even though he put it all together nicely in a script, which we haven't had for a while, so I got completely confused. I'm like, there's things that we go through in order. So tell us a little bit about, especially about the charity stream that we had last weekend. Give us an update.
Yeah, so a lot of you know that we as Battlefield Podcast did the first ever live charity stream. It was a weekend-long charity stream that all the gents in the Skype chat right now participated in at different parts of the weekend. We set a goal for $1,000 for putting towards building a clean well in Africa, and we actually surpassed our goal of $1,000 and ended up raising $1,060. So thank you all very, very much for participating in that, donating, hanging out in the chat, talking with us, keeping us awake while we were streaming at like 3 in the morning. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for hanging out with us and gaming with us. Lee, thank you for your fantastic music ensemble of your buttocks.
Oh, fuck.
And we might touch on that a little bit later. The other thing for update, Ola got a new PC, but we already talked about that a little bit. The other big thing is that I started a new video series in the YouTube area for Battlefield Podcast. It's a vehicle loadout series. A lot of people like doing weapon loadouts, but I kind of thought that having a community-driven channel, it's all dependent on you guys giving me ideas for next week's episode, and it's all vehicle loadout. So I've started that. So if you guys go over to youtube.com/Battlefield Podcast and check out Timmy's Tactical Tuesdays, that is my new series. And I need your help.
Yes. What's the next one going to be for? While you tell us about that chat room, you can start throwing some questions in there. We'll pick out some of the ones that are appropriate enough.
Next episode is going to be suggested by Ola because all of you kind of just sat in the background and let me just figure it out on my own. It's going to be Marquez Monolith with the Little Bird. I'm going to tear it up mean.
I gave you a great goddamn loadout.
You did, but it didn't work out.
Oh, we tried so hard,
it was
Scanner.
So bad.
I don't care if it works out or not. I want to see you fail. Why do you think I gave you the loadout? It's like, it looks good on paper, but in reality...
No, but it would have been like an hour-long video of Tim trying to get into a mobile AA vehicle.
Oh, right.
I drove around. I drove around in a circle in a Jeep around the guy typing in chat, will you get out of your AA for me? I need to do a YouTube video. And he wouldn't leave.
He was like, screw you and your DICE approved tags.
Record this.
All right, let's see. What do we got there? I know Billy has a question. Billy, ask your question for Tony.
Billy asked me a question?
Yeah, he has a question.
God. We're letting Billy ask questions?
Yes, yeah, we don't discriminate.
Yes, the chocolate is not real.
Waiting for Billy.
Yes.
Come on, Billy.
Do you really think I have shitty lips?
Billy's question is, Tony, what's that on your head?
We're not gonna go there. I've become very cynical now because of Billy. I don't trust him anymore. The boy who cried wolf too many times.
The boy who cried cap.
Yeah.
too much.
It's called a casket.
Casket.
Oh, man.
Well, we've killed one person in the chat, so that's always good.
Yeah, we did.
Every time that we can leave a few bodies after the show on the ground, that's always a good sign.
It's a successful podcast.
Are you
That's
able
not
to chat?
successful.
Yeah, no, that's not really like. What do you guys foresee happening in your YouTube channels over the next few weeks and months? I know that some of you have been playing some other games. I know, Scanner, you've been playing some DayZ and lots of PlanetSide 2.
Yeah.
When you
League.
start and tell us what's to come. Yeah, League. Yeah.
What I've noticed within PlanetSide 2 is like a bit of a gulf of sometimes like tactical nuance, shall we say. There's lots of gung-ho, there's lots of Zerg, there's lots of daka, but not much, thought goes into a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna like look at doing some tactical advice videos for taking like an amp station or a biolab or a tower or the crown or whatever it is. So there'll be a lot of PlanetSide 2 stuff coming from me because it's such a huge game. It's so in depth and I can't stop playing it. I'll have like live comms from Battlefield because I still want to play it and I still enjoy the hell out of it. Like when I'm playing with guys like Snoov and Mantis and you guys, I'm really enjoying the game. But I've very little to say on it from the tactical point of view, which used to be my thing. I just think it's played out. If you don't know now, I can't help you. So I'll be doing some live comms from DayZ, from BF3. I'll have some League. I'll have whatever game gets released tomorrow that I want to play because I love my channel, man. I love my subs because they get bored if I play the same game for too long. It's great.
What about you, Tony?
For me, let's see here. I'm trying to keep regular series up. Like I got the Tuesdays with Tony. I was trying to do a baseball series, but that's sort of been my Achilles heel the last couple of seasons because I just like it drops off. So I gotta get back on that. But games that I know that I really want to play more of is War Thunder. I do want to play Defiance, even though I was just reading in the chat that someone was saying after like 40 hours, Defiance gets a little boring.
40
but
hours
you want
isn't
to play
bad though if you think about
40
it.
hours is a lot of time playing in a game, especially for what I view is to be this crazy like single player but kind of play with your buddies sort of thing. Yeah. So those games, I'm sort of getting into. I've gotten into iRacing, so I do that, but I'm not really making as many videos on it as I thought I was going to because it's way more about the experience. Like I was saying earlier about maybe possibly them going back to World War II games. Like for me, the PC is providing me with this whole new experience, and I'm sitting here trying to like soak it in instead of making videos about, oh look, this is PC content. So I'm trying to do this like the nice balancing act of like becoming an okay PC player and enjoying myself, and then on the same time, making some content. But I can first see myself playing a little bit more Battlefield, maybe some more Bad Company 2, because I forgot how much I love the way that game looks, how love how the game sounds. I think the sounds are actually better than Battlefield 3, to be honest. But I'm sort of I've just like there's a new fire within me for some of these Battlefield games. And because of the fact that I could play up the fact that I'm a noob, I could just totally be an idiot and do newbie stuff on PC and get away with it because, I suck. And I can do that. And so it's kind of funny to troll people in that lighthearted way, like especially in the chat, whenever I get promoted, you guys see me like type promoted, act like the Battlefield Friends guy. And if you do it several times, people are just like, wow, okay. And then if you go in and you start like, being a total noob and embracing that noob, actually the game gets a lot of fun. And not, you don't take it so seriously as like I would on console. Like on console, I'm lighthearted, but I'm very serious about playing on console. At least, I was. Now it's like this, as we talk about, this weird little stage. So for myself, as far as like future-wise, I guess it's sort of a, it's bringing diversity. That's always something I preach for my channel, is being diverse. And that's really what I enjoy. So that.
What about you, Lee? Any scary things coming up on your channel? Or any more Let's Plays? Because I should say that actually, aside from the scary videos that I should really make a note not to watch just before bed on an iPhone, you do some really good Let's Plays, and I'm kind of inspired by them. Are there any more of those coming as well?
Well, we finished off Tomb Raider recently, did quite a big playthrough of that, which I know you enjoyed yourself, mate. But at the moment, I've picked up on the PlayStation Network, I picked up I Am Alive, which came out a couple of years ago. But I'd never played it before, and I do like the kind of survival horror type games. So we're going through that at the moment. That's proven to be challenging, but a lot of fun. And I've pre-ordered The Last of Us. I'll be running a huge series on the channel of The Last of Us as survival horror games go. So if you just want just a normal Let's Play rather than normal indie horror, they've got those two. Well, I'm Alive out now, and The Last of Us coming up pretty soon. And that should probably take about a month of the channel's time up, actually. They should be releasing quite a few episodes. They're about 35, 40 of those. And they'll all be 30 minutes long as well. So a lot of work will be going into that, but I think the game's worth it.
Cool. Any final thoughts from you, Tim?
No, this is a lot of fun. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us for a little bit.
Well, because we're funny.
Probably
Point out the obvious.
You guys. Oh god, the people listening on the podcast and the people in the stream, they just cannot see the quirky little smile that Tim gave Scanner.
This has been actually a really interesting podcast because it's almost been a polite extension of our regular call.
Oh,
Yes.
right.
A very, very polite.
Yeah, very polite.
Because I've been sat here and normally I'd be effing and blinding all over the
But
place.
we do have an explicit tag on iTunes. Go nuts.
Yeah, I've been really cautious because I'm on the prestigious Battlefield podcast, sir.
Yeah.
I cannot simply, say the word fuck.
Well, that's funny. It's funny you should say that. I started counting. I was like, oh, I said shit twice. Oh, damn it.
I think I have as well.
I know.
And I'm really trying to reel it in as well.
Fun.
All right, I think this has been really interesting. We'll have links to all of your guys' YouTube channels in the description. And what do we have coming up? Let's see. Nothing. We're gonna have lots of videos over the next week on our YouTube channel. Various stuff. The Timmy stuff. We're gonna have another gun matchups episode. There's a few other videos that are Battlefield related, but not really series related.
Well,
I think we may also
Defiance
have.
coming up.
Yes, we're gonna do a review of Defiance, which we have to work on, and the usual streams, and the new PC is all shiny and cool, and Tim smiled at me like that again. And we're going to try to get some more people from DICE on as well, but we got to pick our timing just right, because right now there's probably this vacuum of information, and there's a reason for that, and this is not a really good time to ask DICE about stuff that they can't talk about anyway.
Because
so.
the podcast will be 2 minutes long, and it'll be, I'm sorry, I cannot comment on that right now.
Yes. With
Like,
a Swedish
okay, we'll see you
accent.
next week, guys.
Yeah, so we'll say that now. So we'll thank everybody for watching in the stream and hanging out in the chat room. And if you're watching the video, like it, subscribe, tell your friends, and we're on iTunes. BattlefieldPodcast.com is the website. One thing I want to mention real quick, this will get posted later tonight on Sunday, but this whole CISPA thing, so the BattlefieldPodcast.com website may be blacked out for a day on Monday on the 22nd. But other than that, that's where you can find links to all of our stuff, including a new TeamSpeak server. I don't want to give out the details just yet because we're still sort of configuring some of the finer options of it, making sure that everything runs smoothly. But we're going to start using that for live streams. So for all those people that in the past have wished they could have been on comms with us in games, and I don't want to give out my Skype account and stuff like that, we're going to have a TeamSpeak server. So hopefully some of you can communicate with us during future live streams as well. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us, for watching, for coming on the podcast, and we'll see you again in a couple weeks. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.